everyone, Husky Ninja here, and with me today is the amazing Base Damage.
Hello, how is everyone?
And if you haven't already, go check out their channel and give them a like and a subscribe.
Please, we need to feed the cats.
And they are adorable cats. And today we are talking about very obscure anime when it comes to anime.
Yes, but even in the realm of as obscure as anime can be, this is up there.
And there's been a lot of traction online from the VTuber Legend anime of it showing the card game Weiss, which we all love and play. And to the point of, it reminded me of a rather old anime series that has 2 seasons, and that is Weiss Survive, which, by its name, is an official Weiss anime.
That people just don't know about.
Yep. From all the way back in 2009. And it is the weirdest anime you'll ever watch.
Like, we've been around for a long while watching anime and stuff, and there's only been a handful of anime in my lifetime that have just made my brain melt to the point that I can't keep watching this, and there's only been like 2 series that I've ever just dropped and not completed the anime because I was like, no, I'm done. And this didn't induce that, thank goodness, but I still watched it and just was like, I have no clue what to make of like some of the stuff that's going on in here. So
it's one of those animes where if you show footage on YouTube, there's a likelihood you get copyright striked for indecency.
Yeah. So we gotta worry about the ecchi, we gotta worry about Bushiro going, I'm sorry, you can't be streaming our anime without us giving you the thumbs up. So, yeah, the best I think can do, like the best we could even possibly do is like screenshots of stuff, and that's like, okay, we have to dodge the edgy stuff. So.
And this anime has 2 seasons, as Weiss Survive, which is season 1, and Weiss Survive R, which is season 2, which has even more fan service in season 1.
Which most anime fans would be like, fan service? Okay, I'm in, but yeah.
This is just like fan service just for the point of showing fan service.
Exactly. But so this is, from what you've told me and from what I remember watching a while back, it's a very unique, we say series, but it does like, the videos are not full-length episodes. That was one of the biggest things that stood out to me the moment I started watching it was they're you can basically imagine it as it's a little promotional anime for the card game, basically. From what like you can basically gather, like the moment you like start it up, you're like, okay, this was definitely made to try to sell the game in some shape, form, or fashion. But for anyone not familiar with Weiss Schwarz, it pulls from a lot of different franchises. It pulls from a lot of different animes, video games, manga, light novels, etc. It pulls from all sources. And this is one of those things where they're like, well, we can't pay for essay. Like, granted, this was what year was it? You said this came
2009.
2009?
Yeah.
2009 is like, oh my god. Most of the major anime IPs weren't even out at that time. Like, it didn't even exist. So it's like, this was 2009. I was just fresh into college. Oh my goodness. Anyway, sorry. We're not trying to have an existential crisis. But it is, the thing is, like, at the time, there was only like a handful of, even like, I think at the time, there was only a handful of IPs that Weiss had under its belt as sets you could actually play. There was only a handful.
It's
so
like,
they were probably like, yeah.
It's like, as you're watching, you see like, I think it's like 2 or 3 cards from one of the early Persona sets actually shown.
Exactly. So I mean, like, and that was like, this is one of like only a couple series that they had. So as of now, they have way more. But it's like, oh, I know Persona, but like they don't show that in the first episode or anything. They show basically card
Yeah, and cards of themselves cosplayed as the card art.
Mm-hmm. So it's really crazy. So how do you want to tackle this? How would you like to tackle this?
Well, the best way I describe Weiss Survive is if Yu-Gi-Oh was shorter and promoted both the card game and the broadcasting studio that was broadcasted it. Because at the end of each episode, it's like, oh, if you want to watch this on the go, subscribe to TBS online, mobile site. And it's just it's basically what you'd find if there was short episodes streamed to a phone service.
Yeah.
Even the length of each episode as well leans more towards this was shown more so on Japanese mobile phones rather than actually on TV.
Yeah, that's literally what it looks like. It's almost like that was the way that they went about it. It feels like.
But the weird bit is I don't know if it was that was Tokyo Broadcaster System's decision or Bushiroad's.
At this point, could have been either.
Or both.
So.
It's
and yeah.
It's you have studios who animate this. They wouldn't think they'd animate a series on their own.
And that's something we were talking about before recording, because if you go on to they have all the info and whatnot on Anime News Network, and even for the studios that were involved with it, from what we were discussing before, there's two studios that stood out. The one doing the animation, which was Studio Habari, and the one doing the background art, which was Studio Fuga. Fuga having the shorter list, but still having worked on a lot of different series, doing the background arts and stuff like that. And that goes I don't want to say uncredited, but if you typically talk about an anime nowadays, you're gonna be Jujutsu Kaisen, for example. You're gonna have people are gonna be that was Studio Mappa, and they're just gonna know that. They're not gonna know any of the other ones that they had to outsource to or had to get others to bring in. So it's okay, cool. That's you can understand the list being a little bit shorter. But Habari is the one that really stood out to me as even though it feels like it's brought in for a doing in between animation stuff, helping with some of the production stuff. It's never the front runner, but it's helped with so many different series from different other production companies that we were looking at the list going, wait, they worked on what?
It's
just would see another title, just you would see okay, let me just go.
It's for example,
yeah.
with Black Butler, the public school arc, they did the ending crediting sequence for episode 3.
It's and that's the other thing, specific stuff. So you can tell they're outsourced a lot. They're hey, come in and work on this specific thing.
And it's a lot of Bakugan, where it's association animation production and finishing animation of opening and ending, and in between animation, opening and ending.
Absolutely. On the list, you would see, they were brought in for this specific episode or this specific project they were doing in between animation. So it was weird to see for Weiss Survive where they did all of it, from what it looks like, from what we're going through and looking on in the information that we've been able to look up. That they're just they just did it all. They just did it all for Weiss Survive in little short 2.5-minute long episodes. And so season 1 was 16 episodes. How was season 2 also 16, or was that a different number?
I think season 2 is roughly about the same amount of episodes.
Okay.
But they're just a little smidge longer.
Yeah. So, and also back in 2009, they may have just been a smaller company, but I see titles up here from before then all the way to working on stuff now. it's like really crazy, like just the list that they've done. But it's a studio I'm like, I've never heard of these people.
Especially when you see
Yeah.
especially when you see like Studio Ghibli movies in their list.
Exactly.
Like
I mean,
Laputa
they've
Castle in the
Demon
Sky. They were supporting Finnish animation for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, how?
Absolutely, I'm blown away with just like the title, just the franchises and going. But once again, the focus is put on the main production studio. Like they'll credit them obviously, but I can't read Japanese, so if I see the credits, I'm like, I don't know what it's. I don't know what it's saying that. That's whatever. But no, it was really crazy to look at this and like look at this with you and just be like, I need to go back and look at some of this stuff for like comparison.
It's like they worked on like Demon Slayer with the Entertainment District arc.
They've worked on multiple of Gundam series that are some of my favorite Gundam series.
And it's just crazy when you look at it all.
Yeah.
It's like Fairy Tail TV, second key animation. So there's like a lot of the heavy hidden anime they have worked on.
Yeah. So it's interesting to think this is a company that tried to like make these little shorts and whatnot. Like they're typically support. They're typically in the background, but they're like, no, we are going to do our own thing, and we're specifically going to pick Weiss Schwarz for this, or maybe Bushiroad approached them. So I'm curious to like who approached who. Like if they went up to Bushiroad and was like, yo, we got an idea for this, or Bushiroad came up to them and was like, we want to promote this card game. We need you to make stuff.
Or we want to make our card game better known. How can we go about this? They're like, we could do an anime.
Exactly. So I mean, like, I'm very curious as to like what the process for this was, but obviously that's. I had to do math just then. Hold on, 2009.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, obviously it would have been before then, probably probably the year before or something. So the year I was graduating high school. So like 16, maybe years or so that those conversations would have happened. That I'm just like, and now so many years later, is like we're making content on our channels, for a card game that's like, this wasn't promoted like it could have been.
Exactly.
Into this game.
It's like Bushiroad, you need to give this another go.
It's like try once more. It was this time say it with your chest.
Yeah.
What people say. So.
But it's like
you don't have to grab like every IP. You can grab like just a handful.
Like use like for example like Fantasia Bunko, where that's got a set coming out. Well, Volume 2 of that coming out soon.
When Persona 5 had its hype, that could have been a big thing.
And like just showcase of like your older sets that people still play and enjoy now, that maybe getting like reprints or a new set added to them.
I mean, even under Bunko, they have Bunko is licensed under the Sword Art Online is licensed under Bunko. So I mean, very easily could have like grabbed some stuff from that. Like,
same with Data Live as well.
Data Live, Mahoka, Magical Index, a bunch of other series for just under Bunko alone. There's like a plethora that they could easily promote with that. I don't know. Like we're obviously not. Bushiroad isn't going to listen to our ideas on this, obviously, but
you never know.
Yeah. One day, maybe there could be someone watching the Husky Ninja channel, and when they're watching, they should totally click that like button and subscribe and comment and everything. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But someone may be watching, be like, get some ideas for stuff. Who knows? So,
but it's like,
sorry, I'm horrible.
It's okay. But it's like when you actually watch the series, especially season 1, it's like you have Michi, who's like the experienced tournament-winning player of Weiss. But then you have her charter friend Takashi, who is a complete and utter noob to Weiss Schwarz. And it just sort of, he needed help studying for a test. she's just like, yeah, I'll help you. Then he finds one of her Weiss Schwarz cards on the floor. And they get warped into a alternative universe, isekai style, to learn how to play Weiss Schwarz.
As you do, in real life. That's what happens every single time I go to my locals. It's just an isekai. So.
It's just like, her whole deck just goes from her hand, spirals up into the air, and makes a vortex that sucks them both up.
Just just activating like ninja hand signs, jokingly, like not actually doing it, but it just makes me think of like someone activating like a ninja jutsu to like teleport or something. I don't know.
But it's like the weirdest anime that's just so hard to explain it properly. Other than
feel that, like,
fan service and card games.
Really explain either. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's just like fan service and card games.
It really, I mean, like, what else do you need, right? No, I'm kidding. Also the fact, I honestly do think that the fact the episodes were so short just did not help its case.
No, because there's like, you had like weird time jumps between them. Whereas like, from episode 9, they're introduced like, to these two players who hate women, like playing against them.
They were Andrew Tate fans before he was a thing.
And it's just like, they're introduced him in episode 9. Like, oh, we play Weiss Schwarz, we're your next opponents. And you can tell they're heavily inspired by Ciel and Sebastian from Black Butler. But then, all of a sudden, it jumps to the start of episode 10. You'll see explosions behind, basically, the Mad Hatter's tea party going on. And they're basically like Master Roshi. It's just like, yeah, they're still going at it. They're still fighting.
It's like, we can make all these subtle hints to Black Butler and Dragon Ball Z, but we can't put in like other series. No, I'm being weird for that one, but you see that in anime all the time where they make like really funny references and stuff.
It's like they even had like,
that's to be expected.
It's like even in episode 1, they had the Dragon Ball Z visor of like, it's over 9,000.
Oh yeah.
On the Knot's face.
Which is perfect for that time period, because that would have been one of the big memes for that time coming out.
It's just like ways to nod at other anime series.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
But then you have like cards of like the characters from the anime themselves as like level 0 and level 1s and 3s. Even as a card art. But then you have cards of actual sets shown.
Mm-hmm.
Like early Persona set cards as well.
Which I do just want to say really quick. The main dude that, he's the noob, he's trying to learn. Like, certain shots in this show just make me think, he looks like Suna from Home Tutor Hitman Reborn. That I'm like, I need to go and look and see if Hibari helped with that, which there was a character named Hibari in the show, but that's whatever. But it's just like, I need to see if there were if Reborn influenced anything from this show. I don't know, but just every time I look at the dude, I'm just like, yeah, it just looks like Suna. Like, what the hell? I don't know. Just that's just me. But
it's just like the first time the male character in the series first wakes up in this alternative world. He can't find his friend Michi. So he walks to a door, opens it, and then there's the series version their basically equivalent of Master Roshi just stood there bathing fully naked. It's just that's one way to make an impression. For a card game anime.
Also, okay, this is a card game anime. I pulled up an episode just to the side just because I wanted to go through and kind of critique some stuff. I love I don't know if you can show this or what, but it goes a heart-throbbing card game in episode 1. I'm like,
yeah.
How would you describe Weiss as a heart-throbbing card game? I don't know. I think you missed it on that one, Mushi. Thank you.
It's the opening title screen for each episode. The slogan under Weiss Schwarz changes.
does? Oh, I didn't even notice that.
But it's like, it's more, the series as a whole is like more fan service, which is like little bits of Weiss Schwarz. But you can roughly understand how to play Weiss Schwarz from it on the loosest, like, thread.
Yeah, like the most basic, like bare bones basic knowledge of it, but
in a way, it's like early Yu-Gi-Oh! In that way.
Which I looked at as well. Like, I was like, okay, let's check out, did Hibari work on anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Related as much as they worked on other stuff? And I don't know. They did work on, they did do in-between animation for the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series.
Yeah.
So there is inspiration there. I thought that was funny.
And it's just like, they saw what Yu-Gi-Oh! Did in the early years. Like, let's do that for another card game.
Okay, I scrolled up. They also worked on Reborn, so they did. So Hibari also worked on Reborn, so I was right. It was in between animation, second key animation, and production cooperation. Can I copy your homework? Yeah, sure. Just change it a little bit so it doesn't look the same.
But just like okay. You can see the inspirations from all of these animes that they worked on, both Studio Hibari and Studio Fuga, as you watch Weiss survive. Including like when it comes down to like their clothing details, you can see it. You can see it in the hair and the eyes.
Very much so. Even some of the simpler motions you can tell.
And like the arc in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where like Teo, I think it was like hypnotized, where she had no pupils and her eyes just fogged up.
Oh yeah.
Towards the end of season 1 of Weiss Survive, you'll see that with Michi's eyes when she's like, "I'm your real opponent now," and her eyes are all like fogged out like Teya's were.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm looking through just to see what else there is, just randomly.
But it's like,
I'm able to skim through it so fast too because they're so short.
But it's like really short episodes. Like season 1 is like 3. It says here on Anime News Network, running time 3 minutes per episode.
Pretty much.
And that's like helped me lean more towards like this was more likely possibly through like a mobile, Japanese phone company, where they'd have like their own unique games you could only play through those phones. And maybe possibly like stream through a service on them for people to watch like as they're on the go to places.
I could see that like being a thing at the time.
Because the length wouldn't make sense for TV.
Like, how do I put it? I could see if they tried to show like a quick, like maybe in between like one series ending and they're starting like one TV show episode is ending and they're starting up an episode of something else or whatever. Maybe as like an in between. I don't know. Like I don't know how Japanese TV works.
I don't know either.
America is obviously going to be different, but
same with British TV as well.
It could also be like maybe random stuff they just showed at like 3 a.m. when they're like, "Hey, everybody else is asleep. Let's show Weiss Survive," you know.
Or it's like, I remember like in the early like 90s towards like the first few months of 2000 when Digimon was first aired.
Oh my god.
I lived in Colorado Springs, and so it wouldn't clash or confuse people with Pokemon. They'd show it after midnight. So people would be like, "Oh, this isn't Pokemon, this one's a more mature version."
They all end with Mon, so this is Pikachu Mon, right? Yeah. Oh god, that was fun having that conversation, trying to explain that to my parents, but that was whatever. stood the test of time.
I do think that's the same now when it comes to, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players and anyone who plays a Bushi Road game now.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, MTG players, everything else in between. The Vanguard people are over to the side, just like, hey, we're here too.
But you do get a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players now ditching Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing Vanguard.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of the
Play
stupid
Vanguard,
amount of summoning mechanics Yu-Gi-Oh! Has now.
Exactly. It's fine. Just like, it's kind of like, and not to toot my own horn or try to, like, point out my channel or anything, but like me as a person, even if I didn't do YouTube, I like trying all sorts of different card games as well. So when I finally discovered Weiss and whatnot, like obviously it wasn't through this. I discovered Weiss first, then I discovered that they had this little short anime series thing. But it just personally just feels better. I just like it more than a lot of other card games that I've tried. So even without like this having to be like promoted to me or anything, like I just enjoyed it more. And then after like playing it for so long, then I find out about this and go, they made an anime for it. It's just like crazy to me.
I was like that the first time I discovered about the anime, because it was like when I was still learning how to play Weiss Schwarz with half a deck that I won in a prize draw, and it's when there's this YouTuber called Nixie Cornexia. And he did a video of card game anime, and this was on the list. I was like, Weiss Schwarz has an anime? Let me search this up.
Hog.
And it was like before Crunchyroll was like became an official streaming site. Back when it used to be a pirated anime site.
Yeah, how the times have changed.
So back then you had like Crunchyroll's a pirate site, Kiss Anime, Anime Radio.
I definitely went on Kiss Anime more times than I can count, so yeah.
But it was like back then, and it was so hard to find. Because you had to then search up its Japanese name, translate that to English, so you have both versions of it on like a WordPad document to find it. But now it's so hard to find on even just pirated anime sites now.
Yeah.
So it's like, for this video I had to send over like links to both like season 1 and 2. I found someone made a playlist of on YouTube for both. But some of the episodes are subtitled in Italian.
Oh, the struggles of. And like especially at that time, that was just the struggle of like anime fans before you could really like do pirating or anything of that nature. Was you would go to YouTube and find especially because like you had a time limit on videos back then. You go episode 25 of Naruto part 1, and it would be like 8 or 9 minutes or something of that nature, 7 or 8 minutes. And then it would go to the next one, and then you somehow couldn't find it, or you would find it was in Spanish,
or like sometimes you'd find like someone had to make several channels just to upload one single episode in its entirety.
Yes.
So it's like you watched so much of it on one channel, so then had to go to another channel to watch the other bits.
Just had a constant stream of links just going to the next one. It's just like, no. Oh my goodness.
In a way, it's kind of like, where some Weiss Schwarz cards have like, play this card, you can get this card out, then that one.
Just has the exact Vanguard does the ride chaining or something, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
It's just, I almost see that more akin to like some Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans where it's like you start with this one card and end with 5 monsters on the board that are just like your boss monsters.
It's like,
but that was just YouTube building up.
YouTube now is so much easier to use.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
which I'm very glad they removed the time limits, because otherwise I can't upload 2-hour-long podcast episodes.
The same for like live streaming on there too. there is a limit on the app for that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was like,
I didn't know that.
it was like during the lockdowns, I started doing like some, like trying to do some live streams. And it was like, oh, you've reached your limit. To continue, please get YouTube Premium.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, why is... Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah.
But if any of you guys watching this video are bored and you're 16 or older, because we don't want any of you in trouble with your parents or guardians,
Exactly.
definitely check out Weiss Survive and Weiss Survive R. And if you're underage, do not watch this for your own brain sanity.
There's profanity, there's etchy, there's
Close-ups of butts.
yeah, there's cartoon violence of, you know, a kid repeatedly gets stepped on. I know there's some of you out there that are into that, so anyway. I understand.
But it's like, this is definitely one of those, like, weird anime that should definitely be talked about more.
It should. It really should. I feel card game anime in general just needs to be talked about more, but there's just... It doesn't reach the mainstream as much.
And we don't want, like, anime like this to go around like so many games have, where it's so hard for people to basically save them in an archive because no one kept track of it.
It's like, you just have to, like, somehow, like, spread the word so people, like, get the series. Which I have no clue how you would even get the series legally anymore.
Same here.
So, I realize you gotta sail the high seas for that, but still.
But sometimes it's like, where some, like, for example, like with Crunchyroll, even though they say, oh, we don't use Flash, they still use Flash for their video quality.
Yeah.
They go to pirated sites, they don't use Flash and the video quality is so much higher.
Says something.
It shows you, Crunchyroll, they just care about money. And nothing more.
Does that speak to the quality? Does that speak to the level of how far things have come, or does that speak to the level of Flash just being shit? But yeah, that's whatever.
And Crunchyroll being shit.
Exactly. So don't hate us, Crunchyroll, please. But you know, at the same time, I just don't use it. So.
But if you guys like this video, please check out Weiss and Survive on YouTube. And if you guys all haven't already, check out Base Damage's channel and give him a like and a subscribe and check out all of his amazing videos.
Thank you so much.
And if you don't, I will climax card you all to banishment.
Yes, you'll be sent to the Shadow Realm.
So I hope you all have a wonderful day. And thank you all for watching.